So something strange happened to me while I was playing Among Us. The strange things that were happening to me were all being caused by one player, also known as Killer. Killer is known to be one of the most powerful impostors in all of Among Us, who has the ability to transform into a second form. Killer is also known to be one of the only impostors who can summon any impostor that he wants. One of the times that I ended up facing Killer, he summoned Ivan, Murray, Rad, and Saboteur, some of the most powerful creatures in the game. And now you may be asking yourself, Chari, how did you get into this situation? Having to face Unknown, Captivate, Aquatic, and Molten. Well, I'm here to tell you the full story. And before we get any further into this video, if you want to see more content like this, let's try to reach our goal of 30,000 likes. That way I know that you want to see more videos like this. And if you're new to the channel and want to stay up to date on all of my videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the bell icon turned on. But now, let's begin with this story video. So I found this player in very late hours. It was around 2 in the morning, and we were about to start a game in the map of Polus. A mysterious player then joined my lobby. He was green. His name had 3 question marks, and he was also green. But this green is very different. It's a bit more darker than the regular green in Among Us. As more players joined, this mysterious player ended up transforming. He went from green to Killer. Killer is usually brown, but now he was cyan. Cyan is the color that represents the crewmates, so I'm unsure why he's not using brown. We entered the map of Polus, and the first task that I ended up doing was my card swipe, since that's usually the first thing that I do on this map. The lights then turned off, and I was struggling to do my card swipe, but when I got done I checked the vitals, and crewmates were going down, one by one. One of the bodies ended up being reported, and everyone was suspecting me. Even though I was just doing my card swipe, they said that I walked by 2 bodies, even though I was just in one spot. I was really confused on why they were suspecting me, but then Killer said that I was suspicious. Everyone then voted for me, even though I didn't do anything. Now that I was a ghost, I wanted to see what Killer was up to, and I found Killer right next to the lava pool. A flash of white light covered my screen, and Killer was no longer cyan. He was now brown. The ground was now shaking, and fireballs were being thrown in the air. Molten appeared, and Killer has summoned him. I was then teleported back to the dropship, right next to Killer, but this time I was the imposter and I was blue. Out of frustration, I decided to eliminate Killer, but then one of the bodies ended up being reported, and nobody was suspecting me, even though I did it in front of everyone. I started to feel regret. I'm probably in trouble. Killer may be after me. My screen was then no longer working, and I was kicked out of the game. I was now in a brand new lobby, and I was the imposter for the second time in a row. I guess I didn't realize at first, but Killer was in my lobby once again. I tried to move away from the dropship when Killer left, but I was frozen with other players. Eventually it let me move, but I was the last player to leave the dropship. I saw a lot of players enter the laboratory, so I decided to follow them, and that is when I saw Killer in the bathrooms of Polus. He was staring at the dead crewmate that can be found behind the door. It also gave me the option to take out Killer and the white crewmate behind the door. But to avoid any trouble with Killer, I decided to leave him alone. I had the opportunity to take out Purple and cameras, which I did, but then his body was quickly reported, and my imposter buddy was blamed over something that I did. I couldn't really defend him, but I had to vote for him. When we were back in the game, I decided to enter the specimen room, since that's usually a place that most people avoid, and it's also perfect to eliminate crewmates. There was no one in specimen, up until I entered decontamination and I saw orange, but I decided not to do anything. I then found Killer once again, and he was just staring at the bathroom stalls. Since nobody was around, I decided to eliminate him, since I was running out of time. But then I was sent back in time, and Killer was now alive. Didn't I just eliminate him? Why is he here? I then heard a loud scream coming from the bathroom, and Captivate appeared. He's the creature that you can find in the bathrooms of Polus. Killer has just summoned him. Me and Killer were just staring at Captivate. Why did Killer do this? A white light then covered my screen, and I was right next to Killer's dead body. Captivate was no longer there, but there was a bunch of crewmates around me. Killer's body was then reported, and at first no one suspected me even though I was right next to the body, but I was ejected anyways, into the lava pool. After that match, I decided to leave Polus completely, and I entered a match in the Airship map, and when I entered, Killer was already there, waiting for me. When we got into the game, I was the impostor once again. I've been impostor the majority of the time, but Killer was also the impostor. It was both of us. I spawned inside of the brig, and made my way through the main hall, up until I entered the shower room, and Killer was standing there. Killer is also an impostor, a very powerful impostor to be exact, and I really wanted to win this game, but he was just standing there. I decided to leave for a second, and when I came back there was 2 players near Killer, and me and Killer ended up taking out both of them at the same time. We got a McDouble, and we won the game together. When I entered the next game, I lost my imposter streak. I was a crewmate, and I spawned inside the kitchen with Cyan, but Cyan was giving me these weird vibes, and the moment I tried to escape, the doors closed, and Cyan took me out. As a ghost, I made my way over to the shower room to check up on Killer, and he was standing there. The ground then began to shake, and I heard the sound of running water. A massive wave then covered my screen, and Aquatic appeared. I think me and Killer just summoned him. After the last game, we took out Cyan, and when you take out Cyan in the shower room, Aquatic appears. Killer then reported my body somehow, but he was dead. How did Killer report my body if he's dead? Did Aquatic get both of us? Players in the chat were also very confused. How did Killer report my body? And how did he himself die? I then got myself into a match at Mirror HQ, and Killer was here. I didn't know what to expect after everything that has happened, but when I tried to get into the game, several players have already left. Maybe it's a sign that I shouldn't be here. I took my chances and I decided to stay in the lobby, and I found Killer standing in medbay, hiding. My screen then began to glitch, and I left the area as soon as possible to try to avoid what Killer is doing. I then found Killer standing in the admin room, and my screen was no longer working. Unknown 2.0 then appeared on my screen and crashed my game. I took this as a sign to not return until tomorrow. I do also want to give a massive shout out to Kitty King for helping me produce this video. If you would like to support a smaller creator, make sure to go check out his channel and subscribe to him. And if you want to see more story videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the bell icon turned on and check out these other stories.